For 20 years, the US Navy tried to reinvent the wheel. They spent over $60 billion on a futuristic dream called the Littoral Combat Ship. They promised a Ferrari on water, fast, modular, and unbeatable. Instead, they got a disaster. Ships with cracking hulls, breaking engines, and almost zero firepower. The world laughed. The most powerful navy in history had built a fleet of glass cannons that couldn't fight. But while Washington was burning cash, an Italian shipyard was quietly building a Predator. A ship so advanced, so reliable, and so deadly that it would eventually force the US Navy to do the unthinkable: admit defeat and buy an Italian design to save their fleet. This is the story of how the Italian FREMM humiliated the status quo and became the backbone of the future US Navy. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are dissecting one of the biggest upsets in naval history. We're talking about the Constellation-class frigate, the ship chosen to replace the failed LCS program. But here's the twist: it's not an American design. It's the Buzzwords-class FREMM, designed by Fincantieri in Italy. Everyone said the US would never buy a foreign hull for its main fleet. They said American industry was too proud. But physics doesn't care about pride. In this video, we're going to break down exactly why the American LCS failed and how the Italian FREMM proved to be the superior warship. We'll look at the secret behind its silent propulsion, its submarine hunting dominance, and how the US Navy is turning this Italian stallion into a missile truck for World War III. Let's get into it. To understand the genius of the Italian design, you first have to understand the magnitude of the American failure. The Littoral Combat Ship, or LCS, was born from a post-Cold War identity crisis. The Navy thought deep water battles were over. They wanted speed. They built ships out of aluminum to hit 40 knots. They relied on mission modules, plug-and-play weapon systems that you could swap out like Lego bricks. It was a fatal miscalculation. The aluminum hulls corroded in salt water. The high-speed combining gears on the Freedom class shredded themselves just days after commissioning, and those mission modules? They never worked. The result was a 3,000-ton ship that cost as much as a destroyer but had the firepower of a patrol boat. It couldn't survive a hit. It couldn't hunt submarines effectively. It was a sitting duck. The Navy realized they were staring at a strategic abyss. China was building heavy frigates by the dozen. The US needed a real warship, something made of steel, something that could take a punch, and something that actually worked. They didn't have time to design one from scratch. They needed a solution off the shelf. While the US was playing with aluminum toys, Fincantieri in Italy was building a monster for the real world. The FREMM, Fregata Europea Multimissione, specifically the Italian Buzzwords-class. This isn't a coastal patrol boat. This is a 6,700-ton blue water hunter. And the engineering underneath the deck is what humiliated the competition. The turbines and electric motors, the secret sauce is the cod-lag propulsion system. Combined diesel, electric, and gas. Most ships are loud. The FREMM is a ghost. At low speeds, it runs entirely on electric motors. This eliminates the mechanical noise of a gearbox. For anti-submarine warfare, ASW, this is the holy grail. You can't hunt a submarine if your own ship sounds like a blender. The FREMM can creep up on enemy subs in near silence. But when it's time to fight, it kicks in a massive General Electric LM2500 gas turbine, pushing the ship to over 30 knots. It's the perfect hybrid. Let's talk sensors. The Italian Navy fitted these ships with the Captus 4 variable depth sonar. This isn't just a ping. It's a dragnet that can see through thermal layers in the ocean where submarines like to hide. And unlike the LCS, the FREMM packs a punch. It carries the Silver A-50 vertical launch system for Aster missiles. It has Teseo anti-ship missiles that can strike over 180 kilometers away. And of course, the Otto Melara 76mm or 127mm guns, widely considered the best naval guns on the planet. This wasn't a paper ship. It was already in the water, patrolling the Mediterranean, proving it worked. In 2017, the US Navy launched the FFG-X program. The rules were simple. No more experiments. No more transformational technology. They wanted a parent design, a ship that was already built and proven. The giants of the American military-industrial complex entered the ring. Lockheed Martin offered a stretched version of their failed LCS. Huntington Ingalls offered a militarized Coast Guard cutter. But Fincantieri Marinette Marine, the American branch of the Italian builder, offered the FREMM. The difference was embarrassing for the domestic designs. The FREMM had double the displacement of the LCS derivatives. It had a steel hull. It had massive electrical power generation for future lasers. It had room to grow. The US Navy looked at the data. They looked at the failures of the past decade. And in 2020, they made the call. They awarded a $795 million contract to Fincantieri to build the first of a new class. The message was clear. The Italian design was simply better than anything the US industry could offer quickly. So, what happens when you give an Italian Gladiator an American shield? You get the Constellation-class, designated FFG-62. This is the evolution of the FREMM. The Navy didn't just copy-paste, they supercharged it. They lengthened the hull by a few meters to improve hydrodynamics and accommodate American generators. But the biggest change is the brain. They stripped out the European radar and installed the SPY-6V3 Enterprise Air Surveillance Radar. This connects the ship to the Aegis combat system. It turns the frigate into a node in the US missile defense network. For teeth, they swapped the European launchers for the Mark 41 vertical launch system. 32 cells capable of firing SM-2 missiles to shoot down aircraft, ESSM for self-defense, and ASROC to kill submarines from miles away. They took the best hull in Europe and filled it with the deadliest tech in America. The Constellation-class is projected to be the workhorse of the US fleet for the next 40 years. We are talking about a planned run of potentially 20 ships. This proves that in the modern era, arrogance is a weakness. The US Navy admitted their mistake with the LCS, swallowed their pride, and went with the best engineering available. The result is a ship that brings the US back to basics: survivability, lethality, and reliability. The Italian Bergamini didn't just win a contract, it saved the US Navy's frigate program from collapse. The story of the FREMM is a lesson in engineering reality. You can't cheat physics with buzzwords like modularity. Sometimes you just need a heavy steel hull and a quiet engine. Italy provided the steel, America provided the fire, and the Constellation-class is the beast that was born from that union. But I want to hear from you. Do you think the US was right to use a foreign design? Or is it a sign that American shipbuilding is in trouble? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive, destroy that like button and subscribe for more stories on military engineering. I'll see you in the next one.